here around, and thanks you again for joining me in the morning session. I'm also thanking again our friends from the CPO conference. Shabd, I'm sure you all know. He was the epicenter who worked for it, very hard for it. Sandeep, Pardeep, all of them you know very well. They did a great job. I want to thank them as well. And thank finally to you. So let me get to the subject now. The subject is all about the way you can see the next generation. If you would have asked me 3 years back, I would have said, no, we are still in the cocoon. We had ideas around. I'm not saying the ideas were not there. But those ideas have been pushed up in the last 2 years. So that's why I'm saying in the cocoon, we were building ideas, but we were saying, guys, okay, we'll do it after 3 years, 5 years. But those things have pushed up in a very fast pace. Now, when we say procurement and supply chain, I'm combining the two things together. Because sometimes people think procurement is only up to my customer in-house. Now, the role of procurement is widely expanding. If I see around many auto companies, 80% of the items of the revenue is all procurement. The pharma company is around 50%. If I go to other companies, service industry around 40%. So when the role and the money, the big deep pockets they have as a percentage of revenue is a big number. Historically, if I say, looking at my age, you can say, when I see the procurement and purchasing, it dates back to 1862. The first time the term was used, material man. I know that time people were not gender sensitive. They said material man. So the material man, there's a book actually, and there's a mention there, the word called material man. When the Rome was being built, and I'm sure when pyramids were made, even that time also material man was there. So the historically purchasing has been as a gold fashion, but it was called buying function. And the buying function is like a getter. Go and get. I want this. So that was the concept around. So from getter, people, those who are well qualified, this is not my job. They want to do something strategic. So from buying, we moved to purchasing. ISM USA, which is 108 years old now, when they came up in the beginning certification, it was all in the buying function and purchasing function. Then they say, guys, purchasing is also a very reactive function. And it was not attracting the smarter people, the well-educated people who could think strategically. It was a support function. I know in many companies still I see. I visit 15, 20 companies every year. I'm here in India for the last 10 years. So I see still we are living in the reactive mode and a support role. And that's why sometimes you don't attract the best people. And then slowly the purchasing became procurement. So I would say if I go 15 years back, ISM made it, a headquarter, made certification on procurement. And that time it was called National Association of Procurement Management. But now they're changed to supply management. I know some of you have done CPSM. So it is no more even a purchasing, no procurement. From procurement also we say strategic, fine, but it's gone one step further. Because the role has expanded. If you're working in a company where you're doing complete supply chain end-to-end, not up to the customer in-house, even up to the clients. If you think of a company like Apple, and there are many companies who are coming that type of approach. So basically there's a designer, and the rest is all supply chain, end-to-end. So procurement function is expanded. Procurement is not just buying. Procurement takes care of logistics. They take care of demand planning. So it's becoming a much bigger role. So when the role is becoming bigger, I think become due courtesy that the name should also change. And then we move from procurement to supply management. So many of you who have done supply management. So supply management becomes a very key function, I would call, end-to-end one way. It is not to the customer in-house. It is going up to the clients outside. So that is historically part I said around. But in the last 2, 3 years back, if I see, procurement has come into the big limelight. I would say hardly a week goes, you don't see an article on procurement, supply management in trouble. Something happens in Suez Canal, again limelight comes up. 3 years back, I never saw the article on supply management. Now you see every time, in the center page, front page. So that shows this profession has become into the limelight. So with this in mind, I said, let me touch, because the theme is next generation. And when I talk of next generation, certainly the three parts will come up. Resilience, if I have to put in 3 words, resilience, flexibility, and agility. So those are the 3 key messages which are coming around, guys. If you want to survive in this world, be resilient. If somebody hits you, don't fall down and then you say, okay, guys, it'll take me ages. Come on back. React so that you are able to survive in this world around. Agility, the demand is changing up and down. Today, the product is very popular. Somebody come with a new product, gone. That's why now we have moved from VUCA to BANI. I'll touch a little bit on that also. It's become a brittle world. Cycle is very short. So this is where my thoughts are going to be on this. So let me walk on this. So future is now, keep in mind. 3 years back also future was there. Some companies were thinking of. But then every time, I should not be very biased, but the management, they thought, we don't need to put money on procurement. We need to put money on finance and other things around. I would say it was a step baby when it comes to asking for funds. You say, I want to digitize this. And the biggest problem I noticed in my own life, because I've been in this now, started from production, design, moved into all activities around and then later on supply chain management. So when I was the research and development chief, can you think of R&D activity in supply chain? Many of you will think, what is this guy talking about R&D? And I was the head of R&D, supply chain management. I was based in Denmark. And my job was to analyze supply chain. I was dealing with EDI standards. And my biggest problem was we had 200 country office. Spend was around $15 billion. I'm talking of 86, 85. So when the spend was so much, and my job was to analyze the spend of 200 country offices, does it make sense or not? And I could not make, to be honest, because we were using 3 languages, French, Spanish, and English. And the way, even in English, the way the British will write English, the way American will write, the way the Indians will write, if I had to write pump, somebody will say pump, somebody will say submersible pump, somebody will say pump submersible, computer cannot make any head and tail. Some will write half spelling errors around. Some will write even in the local language but written in English. And I'm dealing with the government of India also on the same subject, where we spend around $600 billion, but spend is a major issue. Then this is the where I came around with UNSPSC. I said we need a taxonomy which speaks the same language. If we don't have a taxonomy, how can I do the spend part of it? And without spend, I can't do a data. If the data is not good, it's a garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. So the story of whole today, which we are going to talk, all of us, is all starting from data going up to intelligence. The data has to be massaged to make it a wisdom, to make it intelligent. So this is where I'm saying around COVID has changed everything. That's a business mantra. So next thing comes is the reality is, however, is not, it is only sped up. It is not the overnight we got ideas around. Ideas were there. So as I said to you, like a cocoon on the silkworm, ideas were there. But now we have chopped the silkworm and now it's there around. And now we are pushing forward because the management is recognizing it. They know very well, and there was a study done around that how much saving we can come around. Some company, the saving was 5%, some was 10%, some was 15%. I'll show you the data. What makes the difference? So the next thing come around as it turns, the future is now a new technology, new processes around. There's no turning back now. So the profile of procurement, if you see around, post-COVID-19, procurement has got a big spotlight, we all know. The second thing is procurement department is often seen as a cost cutter. Still, many companies you go around because they are headed by procurement reports to finance. I would say 90% company which I have seen in India, they are reporting to finance. And finance only understands the language how much saving you are bringing. If you don't bring saving, you are a cost structure. You are not a profit center, you are a cost center. So can we move to the cost centers, to profit center? I can say yes. I can give you a very good example. Even I'm talking of 1973. I was with Voltas. I was in the design department. And design department I found was, because coming after MTech, I said, I will not go to purchasing procurement. Let me be honest with you. I know I would love to know how many of you joined procurement supply chain of your own choice. Anyone? Can they raise hands? Oh my goodness, anyone's? Well, good numbers. I could see the young faces should be coming up. But my generations, not much. Can I say that most of you are loving this now? Come on guys, say loudly. Good. So that is what I wanted around. So we have seen now, giving the example of 1970, I was in the design department. We had a door handle made of brass, chrome plated. All of you know refrigerators. Door handle made of brass, chrome. And the brass in those days, castings, if those who have been from technical production areas, always problems. The blowholes will be there, somebody has to polish, somebody has to fill, and then do the coating on top of it. And it was costing, I still remember the case study, 37 rupees, one handle. And we were making 1 million refrigerators. 37 million rupees in those days, 73, now you can see how big money was. And then one designer, the one guy, somebody come from supplier, procurement met the supplier guy. He said, why are you making a brass? At that time, the new material has come around, acrylic, butadiene, styrene, ABS. Strong material, no blowhole story. And then ABS, I can mold hundreds and hundreds. The price came from 37 to 15. So more than 50% savings, am I right? So the money, when the company which are spending 50%, 60% of their revenue on procurement, if you have creative ideas, you add values. You're not a cost cutter. So if I go back that days, the procurement guy came to me, sir, I have saved now 18 million rupees in those days. I can relax now for the lifetime. Why not? But I tell you, those days, nobody even thought, this is your job. Nobody will think of rewarding procurement people. That was the concept has gone through it, So in short, I would say around is a time who are seeing it as a true values part of it around. Lesson again learned from this one, I can say, one is agility part, we talked about it. First is communication and collaborating. Companies, one good thing is there, if I see it last 2 years, hardly anybody in procurement lost the job around. But there was this fear, I may lose job. Finding a new job was difficult. This is what I noticed in the last 2 years. But one good thing it brought around, procurement people never used to talk to the stakeholders inside and outside. They were all the time under fear. But during the last 2 years, they were all the time communicating more. I'm not able to get this item. This item was coming, let's say, from China. Can I change the design around? Can I do this around? They were looking for alternatives, which was never there 3-4 years back. But now, because there was a shortage, so they'll say, can we find some substitute like this? The collaboration started around. So collaboration inside also, and collaboration outside. I know Brishban will touch a little later more on this. So we'll talk about the collaborative concept, which is picked up. Otherwise, procurement people are also sitting in a very aloof, come and do the job because the job was too labor intensive. Making purchase orders, calling 20 people, whole day was lost. But now they have become communicators and collaborators. Another thing came around was agility part. Demand is changing. In the good old days when I started my careers, things were very stable, honestly. One model of the car, one scooter model, whatever you make will sell. Fluctuations, very minor. But today's, you know it was going very well and next day somebody else come with a new model, your product is gone. And you need agility for that. So agility has become very problem now. And then another thing I found in the last 2 years, there was some fraud also happening. I'm putting up the real situation which I picked up from the companies. Suppliers will tell you something, but not deliver you anything. They'll tell to everybody there was a shortage. Then they'll come back, sorry sir, if you want this, we'll have to increase the price, we'll have to do this. So the fraud part was also happening. Supply chain became beyond tier 1. And this happened with me personally. We had a contract of around $75 million laying down 3,000 kilometers of copper cables for electrification in Iraq. And copper cables we wanted to get from India, then we were trying from China, we got it cheaper ones. So we gave the contract to China. But whenever we ask, sir, within a week it will come up. Week will never end. I'm sure many of you must have seen that type of situation. So then I said, guys, you can't live up to tier 1. Go further. The guy was getting copper from Zimbabwe, so Zambia, and Zambia was having a strike those days. So in short, you have to learn to go further. Your thinking should not only end with one supplier, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 also, depending on complexities. So that I think we have all picked up now. But to do up to tier 1, tier 2, I need a transparency. I need visibility. And visibility means at the end of the day, it comes through digital part. It cannot come visibility by calling people and phoning people. You want to see online. So that is where the whole trend is changing around. Aggressive, vet your supplier. In the past, we used to have very few cases, but now people have started vetting much aggressively. Since I worked with Pratt Whitney long back in the US, there we were really aggressive, even in those days. I'm talking of 88, 89, we were very aggressive. We will have 200 questions, then we'll say, guys, send me the videos, how this part is made. A team of 5 people will sit, one outsider as well. Procurement people, not that I'm against it, but sometimes they have comfort zone, And when you're comfort zone, you become subjective. So we used to have one person from outside, and recently they invited me for one of the projects. So I was an outsider. So they analyzed it, the video film, how the parts are made, how the layout is there, how housekeeping is there, complete things around. And then based on that, then we'll shortlist 4 or 5, then we'll visit them, then make a partnership. I'm not talking of the simple buying things around, but the one which are long-term strategic item around. So that was the philosophy. Then the next thing came the leadership part. The role of leadership is, I think, become much more. 4 or 5 years back, we never cared. But in a few companies which I visited during this time, people were scared about the job. They were all the time looking for new alternatives. They were knowing by demand of the company is going down. But then the leaders were there to motivate them. Say, guys, don't worry, our work will strive. So when you motivate them, they come with the best. And some companies survived in the last 2 years because of the good leadership. So that's the lesson also I feel we learnt around. And resilience, yes, I think that has become very clear. I think the difference between the risk and the resilience. The risk is there, we know if I ask someone, what are the risks in this around? Financial risk, legal risk, all the risk I can count there. Delivery risk, performance risk, all the risks are there. Then I'll say, guys, what is the probability of this? Probability could be 10%, probability could be 20%. Then I'll come with the formulas around, mathematical formulas, where I could have very wide range around, where I need to focus on. But now here comes around, resilience is something unknown. Corona was not in my list of the risk. Risks were known to me. I could draw the probability of them based on each experience around. But now we come to resilience, which was unknown. Ukraine war was also unknown to most of the people around. So that we need resilience around. Ability to react to problem. If something unknown happens around, are we ready? When I came from the college, I'm going back, now you can say, in 84, 85, we were taught about JIT, just in time. Production management system, all of you who have been in those generation, JIT was the main thing, mantras. We all learned from Japanese. But now people say, guys, just in time is fine, but we need to have some fat to survive in the right time. If you don't get food for 3 days, we must have some fat. Am I right? Should not be too slim. But now people say, guys, we need to have some fat around. So resilience means that's the way it covers up. And the last is flexible sourcing. So the flexible sourcing means, how can I cut the short cycle time? So that's where we go. Post-COVID, another one, a few I'll add up more. Visibility, transparencies, co-creations, near-shoring, I think this is picking up big way. Earlier, the global hub was only one country. I can straightaway pinpoint. And people have learned. Okay, guys, even for small things, they're waiting from their delivery from there. But now they say, guys, why should there be one hub? There should be multiple hubs. We should try to find supply sources nearby as well. So that's a concept which is picking up. Automation, automation, automation. I'll touch on the structure later on this part. Waste part and optimizing performance. An era of disruption. Now there I'll touch few points. I know you all know VUCA very well. Am I right? Everybody is knowledgeable of VUCA. We say, guys, it's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, it's ambiguous. And this term has been used since the Cold War time. Now people have learned it's not only volatile, it is brittle actually. Today you are doing a great product and tomorrow somebody come with electric cars and these all cars, petrol, diesels are gone. So you're all, Mr. Bhargava always talks about R.C. Bhargava. I met him in Denmark many times. He's the chairman, he's still the chairman of the Maruti. He focuses on that. I met him a few times back. But I said, one day you will be taken over. Somebody will come with electric one in a big way in India. So we need to talk about is the uncertainty part. Anxious. People are anxious. Staff is also anxious. Today when we talk about change, looks very nice. But keep in mind, change brings enemies also. Staff does not want. Because they are in a cocoon, they are in a comfort level. I'm having my own job. Now you change it to digitization or something. What will happen? I'm not worried. I'm worried about what will happen to my job. My skill will match or not. Will I get a new activities or not? Can I learn the new skills or not? And my present skill is only calling 20 people, making invoice, matching, end of it. But if matching of invoice is done by computers, and I did it actually. I remember the time we came with ERP, 1985 we started around. Sorry, 2005. And we didn't have any software at that time. Everybody used to grumble, Krishan, we are doing so much, we don't have a software around, and we were working on Excel and this, that's all. Then when he brought the ERP, again they were grumbling. Then I learned change is not easy. You make some people happy and you make some people unhappy also. So that you have to keep in mind, those who are going through the major change, it's not easy. Then I learned it's not easy, tough. Then I had to travel around 84, 85 countries. In one way, I got a chance to travel around, but the training of the people around, convincing them. And then one place I found, some places, suppliers were grumbling that we are not getting payments in time. So when I talk to the finance people all the time, they'll always say, sir, we never got invoice, we never got this, we never got this. What can I do? And by the time we had done ERP, we could do the matchmaking, all three, goods receipt note, invoice, and purchase order by system. I don't need the account. And then I said, guys, you take away all the accounts people out. And they became my enemies. So keep in mind, change is not comfortable. And you get into the limelight. I also get into the social media. Krishan is throwing up a job, this. If you look back in old social media of ours, UN, you become a bad guy. And being from a developing country, you become a more bad guy. So keep in mind, changes are good, but it's not with the fun. So you have to keep mind anxious, non-linear. Earlier, the path was very straightforward. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step. Say, guys, why can't I jump to step 5? Now we're talking of control towers concept. All the players connected through the control tower. Everybody get the latest information. If I'm the last in the chain, I'll ask the number 4, and 4 will ask 3, 3 will ask 2. And by the time you get information, information is twisted. Because now they're all in the linear path. My first job in the Tatas, when they put us into the leadership program, they said, guys, okay, now here are 20 people. Each will convey to next. And then they will ask the last one, what did you learn? Story was totally twisted. So this is where I'm going around. Nobody wants a linear path now. They say, guys, now a digital world, everybody is connected. You might be having different roles, I'm not questioning, but everybody get the latest from the horse mouth. Not going from one to another and then stilling around. Comprehension, yes, difficult to comprehend it. All this algorithmic which we are doing around, they change. I'm in touch because most of my family is in the US. So when I see around algorithmic, they change within 1 month. Today I'm giving a weightage of 80% here, 20%, 10%. They say, oh, no, it's failing now. Change it. So keep in mind your jobs are not getting into comfort zone. That's the way I'm looking at it. So nothing is right. Today it may be right, but after 3 months you will say, guys, no, I'm not happy with this. So what you can't say, in the good old days people say, God, don't teach me, I'm done 30 years experience. I've gone through this and take my words. The gut feeling was very popular in my generation. People still, they talk of gut feeling. I have got experience of so much. Today generation say, guys, experience has no meaning. It's the knowledge. And you're able to prove it. That's the key thing around. So here is the one, VUCA and Bani. I'll just skip it, keeping in mind the time. The roadmaps to the new world certainly is coming, the capacity and resilience. Empathy, look that in your other shoes. How does it look? Don't always look from your eyes, on your spectacles, from other side also. So when you're doing a change management, you're trying to implement something, what will happen to this? If you are in their position, how will they react? So have empathetic that way around. Context has to be the linear path we talked about. Transparency, that's digital. I know we have many sessions on that today. So in short, we are not learning it, but now we have no choice. So we have to jump from this to that part around. So when we talk about next generation, we have to jump into this. Some have started, some have not started. Those who are no competition, fine. But at the end of the day, we are all jumping into that part around. This is where I'm calling paradigm shift. Example of paradigm shift, I loved it because of the small egg. When the chick comes out, is a new paradigm shift. Earlier it was in a very, like a cocoon, it was in the egg. And now it comes out, it's a paradigm shift. Even they show around the simple procurement, when I go to strategic sourcing, also the paradigm shift. For some companies, even the shift, it is a whole paradigm shift. This is the example I want to tell around was procurement health pays. I'm using the word health here. You can see the maturity model. Brishman knows very well. We worked on this subject. So we had this one. Maturity of the companies who are 3.5, I intentionally took it because the company we did was around 3.5. So the one who had 3.5, I'm calling the leaders in India. This figures, those who are out of 5, let's say 5 score, it's 5 stars. If you've got a 5-star, mean you are the global best word in terms of procurement health. But on average, I can say in India, even the best companies, even the technology companies also, it is around 3.5 maximum. So 3.5 is the leaders, 2.5 is the middle of the pack, and 1.9 is a follower. Actually, we have developed one e-book also, an e-playbook you can say, and that is available free of cost to you. Any one of you want to know what is my maturity level. So you can go down, there are different 8 drivers. For each drivers, we have got sub-drivers. You have to score it. And you will know within 30 minutes what is the maturity level. But if you want to really know much more, then we have to collect data from suppliers, others. It's a full-time exercise. So this is where I'm talking around it on the scale of 1 to 5. So 5-star is the maximum. So those who got 3.5 in India, I'm calling as leaders. Now, if you can see the combination, the outcome of the performance-wise, with the confidence level of more than 99%, we are done for around, and every year we do around 8 or 9 companies, this maturity level. So you can see around his annual procurement savings is 4.9, and the one which are follower is only 2.3. Similarly, when you look at the cost of goods sold, similarly you look at the profit before all the taxes around, so you can see the big difference around. So those companies whose maturity level is higher, I'm not saying the maturity of the people, I'm talking, they are one dimension, but maturity level of the department itself. You may be the smartest guy, But you go to the wrong culture. The management doesn't even care two hoots for you. You want to come with a new idea, they say, guys, leave it. Your maturity may be good, but the department as a whole, whether they are mature enough to recognize you and your importance around. So we are moving from, again, when we are going into the new generation, we are becoming more or less strategic. And strategic means I'll touch few points around demand management, categories management. Earlier we were saying strategic sourcing, now we are going further from category strategic sourcing to category management. Not for all companies, depending on the type of items you have around. Category management we use in the retail very often. And from the retail business, same concept is coming to the procurement also. If I'm buying, my friend Pradeep is buying, other one is buying from the same supplier, and if we all belong to the same category, why not be combined together? It improves my power. So when I improve my power, I negotiate better. So tactical to strategic, I'm just switching over to quickly. So the change is there. I think we already touched on this. Change is inevitable, reality of life. And we are all seeing from the lifetime, from the child to birth. We all have seen, for me, the biggest change when I moved from Delhi, came to Bombay in 70, to me, Bombay was a foreign country. So change was always there, you know. So when I went to the US, again a change. So it's all of us are changing with the time. And our thoughts, our perceptions, what we have seen in the childhood perception, now when I see myself now, all perception changes. Same thing happened in your profession also. Next generation procurement. So what is leading us now? That means we have to be digital. If I want to manage a spend, if I've got 200 country office, I want at the end of the press of the button, without asking 200 spreadsheets and merging them, fine, now we need this. Digital is the one, sustainability. This word has picked up, I know when the climate change concept came around, you see the PM talking in different places by 2030 we'll cut down carbon footprint so much. Some companies have started coming around. I'll say still very few, but the concept has started rolling around. With the young generation, they feel, guys, the older generation has left nothing for us. They have left the polluted world. They left the polluted water. So what they are left for us? Nothing. So now people are worried. So when we look for our grandfather, what are we leaving for them? So that means the sustainability part is picking up around. It does not mean it is costly. That means you are cautious. So whatever we buy, if I got two suppliers, one supplier is giving less environmental damage, other one is doing more environmental damage, I won't mind paying 5% more there. At least I'm protecting the future of the country. So sustainability is picking up in a big way. Supplier management, and we have one session also in the evening on this panel discussion. So supplier management is another one. So next one is a collaboration. Collaboration is, again, I'll link up both way. Collaboration not only in outside with the supplier, collaboration inside also. I have a stakeholders inside. And this is where I feel sometime, I recently did for one big company, I can say, one big bank, I would say, one of the top banks. They buy technology worth around $2 or $3 billion. I said, what do you do then? He says, no, I'm giving the scenario, which may be true for many of you. Supplier comes and meets the technology people. And supplier gives them all specifications. And then it comes to these people. Supplier also gives them the rough idea of the cost also. The budget is also decided with the technology people. So technology people have met the companies. They got the specification from them. They don't write themselves, which is true. If somebody says not correct, let me know. I've seen the top companies around. And now then they come to procurement people. Now what can procurement guy do? Budget is known to the supplier. Then they do the bidding exercise. And the bidding exercise, only one supplier comes in because the specs are copied and pasted of the one. So now what can supplier? Can't do negotiation, can't do anything, can't reject it. If it rejects, your customer is unhappy. Inside customer say, you have made life my difficult. It's my budget. I can deal directly. You are my pain in the neck. You're delaying it. And they'll complain to the top management that procurement people are becoming a problem for me. So what is the role left? So this is where, I don't know, when I see around, I mean procurement people have to change their approach. They have to be accepted by the customer in-house. You can't change overnight revolution, but that means you have to build the knowledge. Let me put my own case. When we did the ERP, my knowledge of ERP, okay, I had a knowledge in one way, but not ERP smart. Then what we did around was, we studied a lot, understood the subject, that we could speak the same language as technology people. I didn't want it that I want generic specs. If the specs are not generic, that means you are doing cut and paste. And I had same case once we were buying windmills. We hired a consultant. And consultant, what they did was, they took one catalog, took the specification, except the name was not there of the company. And my team went on the bidding exercise. We were buying for Somalia. One supplier, I said, come on, don't make me a fool that he's only one supplier for windmills. And my procurement exercise is zero then. I don't need, then somebody else can do for me. Then we cut it off. We said, guys, you are giving me 10 pages. I was the chairman for the approval. I said, well, these specs are too widely written, 10 pages, 15 pages, it is cut and paste. Give me the performance specs. Give me the generic specs. And performance specs we developed for WHO, and it's still I can take the credit, it's written down there, book. So we developed the generic specs concept, how to write generic specs. So people can come with the creative ideas around. So that's what we did. So we have the data part. I think I've emphasized a lot already on this. So now this is a model which I think McKinsey has come up around. So that means the strategy when we talk around, the future strategy in the next generation, creation of values. And then we are trying to do is value sustaining part. I create the value through category management, through source to contract, through business partnering. But sustaining part comes from inside, supplier management. So they are the one who are able to sustain for you. So you have to have a good relationship. Invoice to pay, procure to invoice. And the last is enabler, which we cannot undermine it. You may come with all the beautiful strategy ideas. Enablers are very important to us. Enabler means your organizations, your culture, governance mechanism, data analytics, processes, digital. So until we have that, strategy will be half-heartedly. Let me put this way around. Customer needs obviously is not what they want to buy a product. Yes, you and me want to buy a mobile phone or something. We look for value for money. You want to buy a router, you look for value for money. So perception is there around. So when we talk of value, it's a utility. So that's the way we look at it. This I want to certainly spend a little one more time on this. Procurement has been a transaction management. If I go historically, when I started my careers around in 70s, transaction management. Then slowly we moved to RFP, negotiation, and we felt proud that I'm doing a great job. Then we are moving into the category expertise. If I'm buying IT equipment, I must have expertise. Otherwise, I'm not able to add any value. So I would say if you are making category concept, it changes the philosophy. If I'm head of one category, say IT equipment, I must have expertise. If I'm doing on facility management, I must have expertise. So that expertise culture is now pushing up. Without that, you can't say I'm a journalist. Fine, it's good to be journalist, but the question is expertise is required. Otherwise, others will take a ride on you. They say, don't talk to me. You don't know technology. Why you are telling me? So you need expertise around. And the next thing is coming is contract management and negotiation leadership part. Supplier management is becoming on the top rank, which we treated them as doormats. Oh, supplier has come, let them wait. But no, not. They are your partners. And the last is designing the strategy part. So if you look on the side, it provides increase in value add the more you go up. So value add is coming at the top edge in the supplier management side. Not at the transaction level. Here you make it 2%, 3%. But the value addition is there. So this is where I thought is important to you. So there are different things. Then we have Another one is tools that create values. Just looking at the time, so I think coming at this, tools to prevent value leakage. The future of procurements, I think I can skip it, this one also. This I want to touch. It touches my own personal life. Those, I know none of you is from that generation, MRPs, material requirement planning. Anybody used now? When we were there in 1970, 72, 73, we had MRP 1, MRP 2, and we were very happy. Then ERP came around. In India, maybe came in the 2000s, but in other countries came a little earlier. Now, ERP is good, but the problem in ERP, I was very happy in the beginning, let me tell you, with the limited knowledge. Okay, I'm able to make requisition in the system, very happy. Approvals are done online. Then purchase orders in the ERP. Payment in the ERP. So I've got 3 islands. ERP, requisition, PO, and the last one is payment. Am I right? In between is all like a water flow. Sourcing, all going on the emails. Contract management, all on the emails. It is not connected end to end. So I know my colleagues will be touching much more on this. So e-procurement is becoming much important. And then once I go end-to-end connection, electronic procurements, the once I got end-to-end connected from source to pay, then the data is available to me online. I can convert the data, then I come to digital part. So digital part literally started with procurement 4.0, not with procurement 3.0. So this is procurement 3.0, this is 2, this is 1. So if I want, I can link them with Industrial Revolution 1, Industrial Revolution 2, 3, and 4. So today we are talking of Industrial Revolution 4, so procurement has to be 4. So 4 means that's a concept around. So this is the way when ERP came, wonderful tool, I was very fond of it. It was connecting everybody together. It's an enterprise system. It served more service for finance than procurement. And then when I was leaving you and I said, guys, I had not done something in 2005, and by 2010, I was saying, guys, this does not serve the purpose. To me, it's a dinosaur. And now I certainly think it's a dinosaur until, I can have an ERP, I could have e-sourcing, I could have this, but they're all within that. I can't connect to my supplier. I want a separate tool for finance purpose connected with this, no second thought, but then I want to be connected to my ecosystem. My ecosystem should be connected. ERP, I can't connect my ecosystem, outside world. So we have, again, moving from 1980s e-procurements, the digital procurement. So we move from strategic procurement to e-procurement to digital. So today is what we are looking around is the next generation real-time connections. Then digitized collaboration, automatic simulations. Brishman, I'm eating away your time a little bit. I'll take 5 minutes and close up soon. So digital technologies are there also very well. I think we'll be covering up in our one of the session panel discussion. So 3 groups. These are the one core. This is the one maturing. And the last one is coming, emerging, like blockchain and all these things. So it gives you the complete scenario of the technology groups around. Okay, guys, so this is the way coming to the strategic role. Let me future. This one certainly I want to touch. In the past, we were all pyramids. I joined as a junior person, then moved to this, up the level. If I wanted to give my idea to the top man, I have to go to the next. If next one is throw me out, if I have to survive in the job, I stay there. But now the whole world is changing it around this pyramid, so I'm calling as the ugly duck of transformation. This concept of pyramid is slowly changing in the Western world. Turn it around. If I look around my time of old Volta's time, we had 100 people in procurements. 60-70% people were O people. Making a purchase order, calling half the time on the phone calls, shouting, moving, getting invoice, that's all. Purely operation function. Now, if this operation could be digitized, half of them could be automated. So O could be automated, means O becomes shrunk. The jobs are not gone, but O jobs have gone here. Now question, are they capable or not? That's the issue. The jobs will not go away. People, I know, worry around technology, but technology requires different skill set. Now, some will fit, some will not fit. Some will fit, no worry, they'll be very happy, they'll get more salary, more job. But those who will not fit, they'll fight on you. This guy, this boss came and was a stupid guy, We were doing so well and he made mess. And keep in mind, 60%, 40% is a failure in the past when I see on digital transformation. It's not easy. For some people, it has been a wonderful ride on the ladder. For some people, it has been down also. So we need to see around, how much I can automate. T will remain as it is, technical, but strategic has become bigger. So the strategic part is becoming bigger. So that's what I'm saying around, we are moving from procurement to supply management now. So organization structures, like this in the past, now we are going into this. Network, like social media type. Half the people are working from home now. And companies have started accepting it. In the Western world, I see my own kids around. They go 2 days, 3 days, fine, 2 days from home. It's becoming a network concept. And Cisco is still there around. So that means approach has to change. You can't say, guys, you want to talk to me, talk to your next boss, next to next. Come on, guy, whole day is lost. So we are all connected to the network. And everybody knows the latest thing around. I know in the many people, companies which are working home and office, they meet in the morning, 1 or 2 meetings, and everything is communicated. So the network is becoming a different. It doesn't mean all people are equal. Their level may be different, their function may be different, but they still combine together. So people are very important to us now. So I think I've already touched on this point. Processes have to change. The key lesson which is coming around is touch point has to cut down. Simple formula. You don't need a big brainy ideas around. If I have got 10 touch point, question them. Do I need this touch point? Do I need this? Do I need this? Chop them out. Here I can give one good example. In 1999, I moved from Denmark to New York as a director. And when you go as a director, you get a 6-month honey period, all of you. After that, people forget you, which boss came, which went away, You have to leave some impression, am I right? Otherwise, people say, this new boss came, what did he do? Nothing. Except came on the top salary, but no change was there. People expect change. So when I went there, I said, okay, now let me see my own things for you. How what I can do? I wanted my business card. It cost $20 for 200 pieces. Then I said, okay, now how much cost we have done to prepare this PO? And that's the time I looked around. An acquisition was made. Somebody has to sign. Somebody has to approve. Budget clearance was done for $20. I'm sure many companies still have same issues. After $20, then somebody has to get the quotation. Somebody has to get sample. There were 10 steps. And the cost of all them was $99. The product is $20. I said, now I'm become a good director now. I should start with this. And I can honestly tell you, it helped me a lot. I made a big noise to the top management, and money can't, everybody understand the language of money. I said, guys, this is 10 steps, I don't understand it all. You guys are wasting $99 for a card of $20 plus time. Then we did a study, and that the first study I did around was on the use of purchasing card, P card, in 99. Then I implemented it. It became very successful. P card was given even to the top directors, executive, our administrator, even secretary general also. So whenever they go, they could use the P card around. Everybody was happy. And then in the process, I became very visible. Then whatever idea I gave it to them, they will listen. They say, Krishan has given, okay, good. Some people hated me because their jobs were affected. Because when I cut down from 10 steps to 3 steps, so keep in mind the number of steps has to cut down. So again, I'm saying around any one of you, as you're all young, so when you move to a higher senior job, show your role. Don't fall into the moving water. If you fall in the moving water, after 6 months, people will forget who was the director. So you have to keep in mind, show, learn. So first 1 month, be observer. First 1 month, wherever you go in the tube job, learn around what is happening around. Then start pushing guys, no. Convince them on money matter, then they will follow you. Finance will listen to you. But if you don't teach money, then nobody questions you. So this is where I'm talking around the process and technology. I think the example is good enough to you. I don't need to say. So this is the last one. And I would say the profile of procurement professionals, we need different. Now we need people who are not routine people. We need people who have got creative ideas. Maybe stupid later on. Never mind. But every idea is good. So we need brainstorming very frequently around. One thing we do wherever I had a chance to go around as a consultant, I look at the SOPs. If it is made 10 years back, 15 years, I guess, then you certainly need a change. Anything more than 5 years, change. And I think I remember the case, we had a 200 pages procurement manual, the public procurement. And I hired a guy from Harvard, a fresh graduate. He was a law student. He converted the 300 pages to 20 pages. So finance was hating me because finance wanted more pages. They can catch you from para number this, you didn't do this. Para number this, you didn't do it. I said, who remembers these 200 pages around? So let's make it into shorter and equal. So this is where I want to say around, guys. And with this, again, I want to thank you all for the patient hearing. But again, keep in mind, the word is not going to end. This next generation may go to the next level, so change is constant. So please keep it up. And if you have any questions, 1 or 2 questions I can take up, and then I want to give the floor to my other colleagues around. Okay, guys, I hope I have addressed your points around, or you feel I missed out something. You will see me today very often, because there's a minor change today. Session 3, we were expecting the people from IBM, but all 4 people have fallen sick. So I'm the substitute there. So you have to listen me see again. So I'll be covering up on something on negotiation. And then again, one more thing is there. Anything, guys? Any question, please?
Hi, I'm Abhijit from CPO. You talked about resilience.
Yeah.
You talked about resilience, and at the same time, we're talking about agility. Don't you think these are too paradoxical? Because when we talk about resilience, we talk about having more facts, and it affects sometimes the agility to change as per the demand. So how do you see these two going together?
Resilience, other one you said?
Agility.
Agility. Okay, now resilience means let's say simple resilience if I say around, I have enough stock. So even if I'm stuck around, raw material has not come, something is done, I'm resilient enough because I'm not keeping a stock of 2 hours, I'm keeping of 2 months. I'm resilient, but then costs money. So there are solutions for resilience, but resilience means you should be able, suppose if I know this product is not selling, I want to sell over to another ones around. So resilience is purely that you are able to withstand the shocks. Very simple word. Any shock happens, of any type happens, corona happens, delivery happens, shipment is stuck in Suez Canal, fine, for 1 week I have a stock, I'm not stuck. But agility is different around. Agility could be my demand is fluctuating. I'm making car, let's say desire car. My plan was this. But suddenly I find the market is not happy with this. So whatever I planned for 1.2 million, now I have to make only 10,000 cars. So agility means, can I cope up with this? So in some way both are coping up. One is coping with purely demand. Other one is that I'm hit by something. I'm able to stand. I'm not totally falling on the floor. So there is a difference. One is dealing with the demand. Other one is dealing with it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So my question came from a perspective that when we anticipated the Q1 of this year, we said it is going to be a crisis. The situation with China, energy crisis, and everything. So as a result, we did distress buying, and then we're sitting on a big stock to be more resilient. That stock is coming at a very high price. Prices have gone down. There's a pressure from the market that we need to react to the lowering of the prices, and then we need to pass on something to the customers. So that's where my whole paradoxical situation is. The agility to cope up with the demand of the market at the same time you're sitting on a big issue.
So you will have to work it out, the what if part around with algorithmic. So I agree with you. That means I will do the same thing. If somebody says, guys, there's a problem in China and they're going to go with the next round of lockdown, let's keep the stock now. I keep the stock and then I find, guys, no, I don't need this. And the market price has gone down. So those, I think, the price we'll have to pay for it now. So it's all mathematics. Anyone last question before I close? Yeah.
Good morning. This is Abhishek Mathur from Cisco. Mr. Batra, not a question, but more of a situation, and I would appreciate your comments now, maybe later in the day. I have been in procurement for 2 decades or more than 2 decades. A majority of it with companies like IBM, now with Cisco 4 years. I have seen a change in how India is becoming critical to procurement global category sourcing, right? From a country to a geo, now we are truly global, right?
Yep.
In this role of mine, I am managing entire world for Cisco, right? A $2 billion spend sitting here. So this is definitely a very organic, natural phenomena of India becoming more visible and acquiring a lot of skills and talent. Without that, it is not possible. What's your take on how we are going to deal with this whole big thing? And I saw you taking example of Western countries, right? And we are coming very close to what they used to do. And we are almost at par in some category. So it is interesting. 2, my question is, are we ready to sort of go further? And how do we manage? I mean, sitting here, we managing suppliers spreading across the globe, right? My largely business, 80% is in the US. So it's like balancing, but at the same time, it's also on how you make yourself equipped to do an equal job or a better than what someone sitting, on site can do.
Okay, good. Now, since I've spent 30 years in the US, so let me explain a little bit. India, we are very traditional people in general, and very comfort level. And then in the US, you are seen around any new idea they pick up around, they say, okay, let me try. If it fails, fails, fine. But that, I think, stamina or the risk appetite is less here. We are very good on routine things. So that is why when I see the British Petroleum, other ones around, because we worked with them, they used to do the critical things they will do, the strategic thing they will do in the US, routine thing, the tactical job and operational job they will pass on to India. Placing an order, following up with the suppliers, calling them 20 times. Because the cost there may be $15,000 a month, here may be $2,000, $1,000 around. Say, guys, okay, it makes sense. Certainly, mathematically makes big sense around. So all their jobs, if you go to many companies who are doing for oil company in India or abroad, so they are doing operational level job, tactical level job. Strategic level jobs were there. But now Cisco has taken the lead very good, that they have passed on the strategic job here. And this is where I was explaining to a few companies with whom we work. I say, guys, convince them that your people are equally knowledgeable to take care of strategic function. So now they are passing on strategic function, which may cost $15,000, $20,000 there. Yeah, maybe $2,000, $2,500, great. The only thing, the gap I see around is on the technology side. One side, we are very good on technologies. Cisco, 40% people are with Indian origin background. You go to any top companies around, IT companies around. But within India, technology-wise, when it comes to procurement people, their mindset still need to be changed. Because they still feel it can work, why should I get into? I think their problem is they're scared of the job around. They think that if it becomes too digital, my job may go away. So that, I think we have to change the mindset here. So which I think Indians are good. And one good thing which I can proudly say in Indians, when it comes to negotiation, nobody can beat them. Nobody can beat them in the Western world even. Because they have not learned. I see my grandkids around. They only look at MRP, they say this is the price. Indians, when they buy medical MRP, forget about MRP, 50%. So worldwide I can see around all the startups, even centers. If you go to California, anyone's around, 30% are Indians. And the biggest skill of Indian is negotiation, negotiation, negotiation. And once they go after someone, they don't spare. They go on hammering again and again, even the guy throws them out, then again they'll go. So that is a plus point with us. I'm sure, I think we are at the right footing. It's the only thing we have to change the mindset. We have to make them much more educated on technology side, and they should be more progressive in thinking. It will work. We are doing better, actually. Because I had people with me from China, Germany, others. So I don't see any. I was the first one Asian as a chairman. I had a resistance because the mindset is still different. I think the problem with us also is the complexity. We think we are Asian and these white people, they ruled us, they are smarter than us. We go from India with that mindset, that they are smarter than us. Then God helps. So you have to say proud on yourself, guys, I can do it and you will do it. No second thought. Thank you again. Okay, guys, I don't want to take much time. I think with this, I want to thank everybody for the patient hearing.